Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's good to be back here at Stay Woke here on In Touch News. We got a very, very special guest in the house, Mr. Don Scott. Don Scott is in the building, y'all. But first, before I introduce him, I definitely want to say, my sister Michelle, she could not make it today, guys. I know all of our fans, all of our followers, she was a little under the weather, could not make it, had been up all night. So I'm definitely going to hold it down for her. Also, I want to say Dominion Life Church, Pastor Terrence, thank you so much. Thank you for opening up your congregation for us last Saturday to do the pro bono legal consultation for our community. About 55, 60 people showed up. We had 5 beautiful attorneys come out, give their time, give their service to our community, and that's something that's usually unheard of. But today's show is kind of a correlation of helping the system, helping the criminal justice system. We have Don Scott, who last year put on the first annual Tampa Bay Criminal Justice Summit right here in Tampa, and people from all over the state came. People from out of state came to be with us. So it's happening again, and it's happening next week, and it's happening earlier. Last year was a one-day event. This year is a 2-day event with reentry, and then the summit, big summit on Saturday. But I will introduce you guys to Don Scott. Half of the people following us or watching probably already knows him, probably seen the flyer. So, Don, man, welcome to the studio. Glad to have you on air.
Big Walt. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
No, anytime we can, give our community, our Tampa Bay community, awareness for what's going on in our backyard, that's important to me.
Okay.
What you're doing for our community, is something that needed to be done, something that was unheard of when I first heard it last year about a criminal justice summit. Giving a community an opportunity to get a hold of real criminal justice stakeholders, people that they hear about, see them in the paper, and they can show up to this event and speak to them.
In person,
be able to ask them real questions, be able to engage with them, put them on the roads, maybe discuss something that's personal to them, and you brought that environment. And can you please tell our community what inspired you last year to make that happen?
Inspiration. My inspiration for the Tampa Bay Criminal Justice Summit, Walt, is Russell Simmons.
Okay.
Many years ago, Russell Simmons did a summit in New York and brought all the hip hop heads together on some, stop the violence thing.
Right.
So I just took a page out of out of his book and created the Criminal Justice Summit to bring awareness to some of the things that are going on specifically here in the state of Florida.
Right.
I'm from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
We see the hat. We know y'all going back to the World Series with Harper.
Go Birds. So I work for 2 pretty large nonprofits. And when I was with them, I never had the opportunity to create an event or to really bring my energy to the organization. So when I left, one of the first things that I did was I reached out to my friend Nate Shade at Horizon Communities. Nate has this beautiful program that in the community, in the prisons. So he actually starts the reentry process behind the wall. So I reached out to him, told him my idea, and he was like, Don, run with it. And we reached out to Vanessa over in Orlando, reached out to Adwan in Jacksonville, said, can we put this all together? And we did. So this year's, we got DOC involved, so we're doing a reentry simulator on Friday morning. We're doing 2 simulators, Friday morning and Friday afternoon. We're doing a reentry panel in between the 2 simulators to talk about some of the reentry issues. Patrick Mahoney from the Department of Corrections will be here. A lot of other organizations will be here this weekend.
So, just so the community knows, last year it was on a Saturday. You could come from, I want to say, like 9 to 2, 9 to 3, and it was like a morning event. We stopped. They had catered food for us, and then in the afternoon there was like a short couple sessions going on with different rooms addressing different areas of, the criminal justice system. Now you've expanded and said, hey, we're gonna run it back, but we also want to give you something fresh with this reentry on Friday. So now he's saying, if you want to know what it's like to be incarcerated and get released and have to walk through those footsteps as a person going back into society, let this simulator show you how. And I thought, man, when I first seen it, I was like, you want to get people involved in things, you got to show them. You got to show them what it feels like. You got to show them what that stigma is like to get out of being incarcerated, paying your debt to society, and then you're coming back and saying, man, these are the hurdles that I got to face.
What I found so interesting is, me personally, I am a returning citizen, so I want to go through the simulator to see how realistic it is.
Right.
Again, because me coming home, I went through that whole process. It wasn't simulated; it was real, and I can tell you that it's not easy. Okay.
Go ahead.
So during this simulation process, it's 2.5 hours long. There's 14 different tables, from what they explained to me, and each table represents
A station
or a stop that you have to make. You know, ID, driver's license,
for sure. Maybe some government assistance, housing.
So you get a folder, okay, and in the folder is who you are for that day, okay. So you could be Barack Obama, you could be Walter Dunn, you know what I mean. So you may have all your credentials, and you may just need a job. You know, you may have everything, you know, but no driver's license. You may have a place to stay. You may have, you know. So, also, what they don't tell you about, there's a homeless shelter. There's a jail. So, if you mess up, you may go back to jail. If you mess up, you may go to a homeless shelter because you may not have that support. So, the summit is to help people understand the process and also to help the general public understand what we're really going through and what this looks like. This ain't TV. This ain't Law and
It's
Order.
real life.
This is real, you know, and people go through it. I've been through it, you know.
You know, I think about what's really going to catch people's attention is when they go through the simulator. And first of all, Don, I thought this was a genius move. Like, man, like I just thought it was just so fantastic that this was put together. But what I really pray comes from the simulator part is that these people who are working here or in our community, when they see the real struggle of what it takes for somebody to get released and come back into society, reintegrate, that they will want to take this experience, pocket it, and think about when I encounter somebody coming into my job looking for a place of employment and I know they just got released from incarceration, maybe I overlook the felony. Maybe I overlook the stigma. Maybe because I've been through this simulator, want to give somebody an opportunity.
And that's exactly what we want to do. You know, we want to shed light on this because in some states they have the ban the box, so you can get a job and you know you don't have to mark that you're a felon until
it's on. Yeah, it's on you to do the interview.
Right.
You know, if you sell me, I mean,
if you get the job, you got the job, right? And
you mess up on the job, we're gonna fire you
anyway. You know what I mean? But you know, let's talk about ban the box. Let's talk about some of these other programs that are here to help people. You know, not just to find jobs, but to find housing. You know, there's places because of your record, you can't live there.
You can't live there.
They won't tell you that part. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that, you know, car insurance, phone bills, cable bills, all of these things, you know, when you have a felony, all this stuff is affected. You know, and then
you know, definitely. You know, I wanna, you know, for anybody who wants to call into our show, our telephone number today is 813-444-9588. You're more than welcome to call and weigh into the show. You wanna make a comment, address something, sprinkle in a little bit of information, you're more than welcome to give us a call. Once again, it's 813-444-9588. Please give us a call. But Don, I think, you know, for all the businesses downtown, because the summit is right there
downtown.
You know, I think it would be important, like if there was a possible, I don't know if it's possible because of the timing, but to get a lot of these corporate companies that are downtown to come.
We're in the process of reaching out to people. You know, the relationship we have with Kevin Plummer down at Tampa Prep. He's part of the I think the downtown partnership, so he's working some of his resources. We're working some of our, you know, we've reached out to every elected official in the area, every single one.
Okay.
City Council, County Commission, Pinellas County Commission, Manatee County Commission. So this isn't a Hillsborough thing.
This is a Tampa Bay.
This is a Tampa Bay thing.
Tampa Bay thing. That's awesome.
Not only that, well, we have There's a young lady from the Sentencing Project coming in from Washington, D.C. to talk about the second look bill. And something else that's new this year is the credits for attorneys.
Yeah, give us some spoiler alerts. We want some spoiler alerts. So, what Don is saying is if you're an attorney in the Tampa Bay area and Don has some contacts, I have some contacts, we definitely will be sending out. But if you're an attorney and you would like to come to this event, you can also earn credits with the Florida Bar that you have to do anyway.
Yeah, and you get 11 and a half credits, but you have to attend both days.
Okay.
Okay. And if they reach out to you, Walter, if your listeners reach out to you, I can get some of your listeners into the simulator for free.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but they gotta call you though.
Okay.
Don't call me.
Okay. They gotta come through me to patch you in. So I got you.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you 5.
Okay.
I'll give you 5 spots. You give away 5 spots to the simulator. I'll give you 5.
I will do my best to see what attorneys are available. Last week we have.
They don't have to. It could be attorneys.
Okay.
If you're interested in running for judge, shout out Mark Proctor.
For sure, I definitely would see if anybody in my contact would like to attend the summit. I think it's a beautiful thing. But tell us what day 2 is about, Don.
So Friday is the first day, so it's the simulator.
Okay, in time frame, we're talking
9. We're talking 9 to 4, 9 to 3,
so,
and then we're doing a social later that night. So if you want to come out, let your hair down, relax, and talk to some people, and network with the same people that you're interacting with in these panels.
You get a chance to say, we ain't no more on the panel, so we could really relax and have some casual conversation about.
Meet your panelists. City council people are invited. Other elected officials are invited.
It's a who's who, y'all. A who's who.
Yeah, Bob Enriquez. Look, the flyer is horizoncommunities.org. That's where all the information is about the summit. On day 2, Walter, you asked, and that's where I met you last year, because last year you helped volunteer with the summit. So I want to appreciate your help. Last year.
So let me give the people the people a background. Last year, I knew what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be involved, but didn't know where to go. And there was a lady named Denise Rock that when I was
Florida Cares.
When I was incarcerated,
Cares,
I was in communication with her, and she reached back and said, "Man, you need to be involved in this." And somehow, some way, I don't, maybe she made a phone call to, I want to say Vanessa, yes. And then it was put together that, hey, we need some volunteer help. So if my pockets were a little low last year. I can keep it honest. I can keep it what the young kids say. I can keep it a buck. My pockets were a little young last year, but they was able to get me in as a volunteer. And when I got a chance to be a volunteer, y'all, I got a chance to watch something that was beautifully orchestrated that I knew I wanted to be a part of. And it was special because I got a chance to see people that I had read about, people that I had seen on TV, people that I seen in the newspapers, magazines, and they were all in one building. So it was extra special to me because when I was incarcerated and looking before I got my sentence overturned, I was looking to meet these people. I wanted to look people in the face and ask for change. But we got to take a commercial break. I definitely will get back to that once we come back off air. If you want to give us a call, please give us a call back, 813-444-9588. We have Don Scott, the Criminal Justice Summit, live in studio. We'll be back.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
So believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sun down 184-361 Rick. That's 1-800-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Welcome back, Tampa Bay. Thank you for tuning back in to Stay Woke Radio. We have the infamous Don Scott in the building, but before we went to commercial break, I was telling the audience about how I got involved last year with the Criminal Justice Summit. And just to sum it up, you know, I had got networking. I reached out with a few people that I knew, and I got an opportunity to volunteer. And when I went, you know, there were people that I did know, you know, and there were people, a slew of people that I didn't know, with politicians and lawmakers and, you know, senators and stuff like that. So just to be in that environment, I felt like this is where I could really get some good answers. This is where I could network. And then I got a chance to meet Don and knew he was the man behind the scenes. And, you know, I was just so grateful for the opportunity. And I knew one of these days I would want to be a speaker. You know, that's what my goal was to do in life, was become a speaker and be an advocate. And then this year, you know, lo and behold, I went from volunteer to panelist speaker. So it's just an amazing thing to watch and grow and be a part of. Because if you say you want change, if you're tired of the statistics being against us, if you're tired of watching blacks and browns and juveniles and people getting caught up in the justice system and going away, this is something that you need to be involved with. This is where you come out and get real answers. This is where you come out and look people in the face and get real conversation from. No more having to send emails. No more having to trying to run people down. He's brought everybody to one environment from all walks of life. University officials, politicians, lawmakers, law enforcement, Department of Corrections. So he last year he had the education superintendent in the building. Like, he had everybody. You know, so if you want to talk about your child going to high school, or you want to talk about the legal system, he had it all in one building, and it just blew me away. And I was so grateful for the volunteer. And I'm going to give you a fact. Ever since I went to that Criminal Justice Summit, no lie, it came with a tassel for my volunteer badge to get in. I put it on my rearview mirror in my car. I have never taken it off since I left there. Like, if you look in my car right now, you'll see the Criminal Justice Tampa Bay Preps thing, just because that's how much it meant to me. You know, and a lot of relationships were built from that. So, you know, it's extra special to me. You know, I was able to meet some people, and then, like, relationships took off. So I'm super grateful that, you know, he's continued to make a round two. So obviously the community gave Don some good feedback.
Absolutely.
And now, you know, it's an annual thing where we want to look forward to this every year, where we can get real answers. And now he's created a reentry simulator where you can do reentry on Friday. You can do research. You can get research statistics. You're going to get some university people. You're going to get some Department of Corrections. You're going to get all these type of people there that's going to be able to tell you about research and statistics. And then on Saturday, you got the big event.
It's all the panels.
Yeah. So
Brandes will be back. Former Senator Jeff Brandes will be back this year.
Did he? I mean, he did retire. Is this what?
Yes, he did retire, but he also runs the Florida. He has a nonprofit that he runs.
Right, because some people have been saying, like, look, Jeff Brandes retired, but he still got a hand in the game. So
absolutely.
So it's like, is he retired, or, you know, does he have? Because one of the questions I'm going to ask him is, where do you go from here?
He's doing it.
No, I mean, do you go for another political?
I can't speak on that.
Okay,
on his behalf,
speculation, you know.
But I do know that he runs a nonprofit organization.
He got a hot name.
That's doing policy work with criminal justice and some other issues that are close to him.
Okay.
But guess who's on the panel this year?
Oh, talk to me.
Walter Dunn is on the panel this year. You hear that? Wait, hold on. And you're on the author's corner. right? Because you have a book, right?
I have a book too, Don.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about your book. You know what I mean? We're going to do a little book signing. We have a couple other authors coming through.
True.
Patty Sanchez, who's local, has a book out. She just put it in new authors. So trying to break new authors out too. Bring the author. And everyone. At first, it was just people who've written books about criminal justice. But a lot of the criminal justice books are about, how you overcame adversity. So Patty's book is about how she overcame adversity. Kristen's book is about how she overcame health adversities. Keith's book is about how he,
went through
what he went through in the prison system, and then you have your book, So and that's
flavor. That's flavor, y'all. So, not only will you get an opportunity to come through, you'll actually meet authors in our community who have authored a book about their personal story, and we will want you to support all of us. Not just me, but the other authors that are out there who are trying to get their story out there, want you to, read about their book. I think that's just an awesome thing. For me, what was unique about this situation is I produced 2 books. I produced one on my personal story, Through Innocent Eyes, and then I produced another book on how to navigate through the criminal justice system. So the second book, when I was battling to, and I don't know if you know this, Don, but when I was battling to get my sentence overturned, I had been this powerhouse lawyer in the prison system. I was like the Johnny Cochran of prison. I was getting people released from prison. I was getting their situation.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give you names right now. People that's in our community that got released from prison before I did, because I was doing their legal work, and I just became like the who's who to do law work.
I know when I reached out to Johnny Braham, Johnny was like, "You need to get Walter on there." I'm like, "Johnny, we're talking about housing."
Right.
we can't. I can't bring Walter on a housing panel. He's okay. Find a panel for Walter. Yes, Johnny.
Right.
Shout out to Johnny.
Yeah, shout out to Johnny Branham and Hope for Today Ministries over there. So I actually spoke to Johnny this morning too. So when I was doing legal work, and I was seeing the effects of my legal writing, getting people out of prison, and even changing people's situation from in society. I was doing legal work for people in society. I started understanding what was working, and I was keeping a record of what people need to know, so they cut down on all the BS that they're going through. Usually you get with a lawyer, he want money, he want to drag you out, he want time, he want to, get your car from you and all this, and it just take you for a ride. You're losing time, money, energy, faith. You're losing all these things. So I started writing a book on all the things that were successful for me. So there's a 116-page How to Navigate Through the Criminal Justice System book that'll give anybody who's going through the legal system right now, that's arrested, in jail, in prison, on probation, house, or anything that has to do with the criminal justice system. You can have the guide on how to get through it.
That's powerful.
And then when you look online, Amazon or Google, whatever, any law book that you buy, we're talking about $350, $400 law book. When I produced this book, I realized in that moment when I was writing this that I was helping the indigent. People who come to get law work from me didn't have $500,000, $15,000 to spend. So I told myself that, is it about the money or is it about the help? And for me, it was about the help. So that book, instead of putting it in the hundreds, I made that book for $50.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Walt, because I want people to know that everyone who's working for this summit, we're all volunteers.
All volunteers.
Okay, and we're all volunteering. We're all doing this to make a difference in the community. I'm from here. I'm from Philadelphia. I live here in Tampa, but there's people from all over the state coming. And to raise and to show, some of these laws are a little crooked.
Listen,
but I don't want to go. I don't want to dig too deep. You know what I mean? But because we'll get into it next week.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
And we have to really have a conversation with our legislators about these laws, about parole. I mean, I don't think Florida's had parole since what, 1982?
82, 83. But there's a piece, and it's funny that you bring that up, Don, that I wrote a piece that I'm probably going to release on my LinkedIn. Is the Florida parole system broken? And it gives you statistics, it gives you some things that is really eye-opener about how we have 1,100, 1,200 people that are still eligible for parole but can't get it.
Nope.
And we got some people in that's a life sentence for non-violent crimes and still can't get it. So
And that's why second look is so important. For the second look bill, they don't look at it until 10, 15 years later.
Right.
Mainly for people who are tried as an adult, kids that are tried as an adult, which is something I really can't quite comprehend how you can do that, but they seem to do it.
When I go a lot of places and I speak and they talk about the Florida law, especially when I'm speaking out of state, I often explain it like this. In the 50s, we had muscle cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We had them Chevys and Fords and all them big muscle cars.
Mm-hmm.
In 2023, we got electric cars. So we understood somewhere in the automobile industry that we had to change with the times, whether it be environmental or we have to, save on gas or get more for our buck or whatever. We understood that we could no longer make the 1950 car anymore.
That is an excellent analogy.
We had to understand that we had to transition to bring something current for the people.
Yes.
So if we still have laws in Florida from the 1950s,
20s.
the 20s,
20s.
when they was enacted, how is that benefiting us in 2023? Because they say the Department of Correction is making $7 billion annually a year, so much money that the incarceration for Florida has taken over the #1 revenue. It has beat Oranges and it has beat Disney World as the #1 money maker. We used to say tourism. People from out of state feeling all that. Hey man, we want to go to Miami Beach. We want to go to Disney World. We want to go to Tampa. The #1 money maker now in the state of Florida, and you can Google this. This is statistic. It's
You're
facts.
right. You are correct.
Is the Department of Corrections making $7 billion a year?
But there's other external issues around that.
Oh, absolutely. But if they come to the summit, we could get answers. You can
get you're
you
going
can
to
get
get
answers.
answer. You're going to get. You may not get the answer that you want to
You
hear.
might get the politician answer, but you would definitely get the answer.
You'll get a answer. You may not get the answer you want to hear.
It's true, and you'll be able to get the conversation.
But you'll also learn how to change it.
True.
Okay.
True.
Because just because we can agree to disagree, there are methods that that people will show you on how you want to pass this bill, Walter. Okay, we'll do this, that, and the third, and I'll show you how to do it. Just the politics. Just don't tell them that I'm helping you. You know what I mean? Especially my Republican friends. You know what I mean? I know you're all about public safety. But public safety is criminal justice to Democrats. It's just all a matter of how you word it. So to my Republican friends, we're going to have a good public safety conversation next Friday and Saturday. Come out, have a good time. If you're an attorney, come get some continuing education credits. You know what I mean? We'll feed you. You know what I mean?
We'll give you something.
Yeah. To my Democratic friends, we're going to have a criminal justice summit next week. You know what I mean?
But I try to tell people, when they ask me, Walt, what do you think about law changing and how come people can't get on the board? One is some people listen to listen and some people listen to be heard.
And some people some want to be a part of the process just to cause disruption
or to get their name out there. Okay, that's a factor too. But when we get people in these buildings, this is where the brightest minds are in one place, and we need to get this conversation to solution, this conversation to action, this conversation to let's go out in our community and change it, because guess what? We could be the poster child for change.
Absolutely.
We have statistics, because Don, I'm good with the statistics right now.
Yeah, I know you're the numbers guy.
Yeah, I'm the numbers guy. We got 1.4 million people in the Tampa Bay community. We're talking about Pinellas, Tampa Bay. 1.4 million people in that circle, in that demographic. 34% of that population was arrested last year. 1/3 was arrested.
That says a lot.
1/3 was arrested last year. This ain't the numbers I'm making up. This is the numbers that I'm giving. This is the printout that I'm giving. 1/3 of 1.4 million people were arrested last year that had to go into the criminal justice system. You don't think it's a time for change? You thinking the 1/3 of the people went out there and did something wrong? Everybody ain't guilty. Or some things could have been given as citations. Now, are there some people who go out there and commit crimes and all that? Absolutely. But 1/3 of your community? That's a large number.
Yeah, but you also have to see. And I went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. It's where I studied criminal justice, and I did a paper there, my graduation paper. And I did it on how the criminal justice system is a business. Okay, and that's what people don't realize. Like when you see cops outside, doing their job, they're kind of like salespeople. You know what I mean? They're bringing in the product to keep the system running. The product is me, is you, is people that are doing
Facts.
Facts. Doing something they shouldn't be doing, and somebody happened to. How many people? I talk to people all the time. Don, I've never been to prison. I've done a lot of dumb stuff in my life. I just never got caught. True. Yeah. Now people are getting caught because they get comfortable. You know what I mean? But you have to see it as a business. If there was, I tell people, what happened to the war on drugs?
It's still there.
It's still there, but
still there.
Nobody talks about it.
No, we got better drugs now. We got fentanyl.
We got fentanyl, yeah.
Stuff that'll just touch you and kill you.
But all that, just say no, and you don't hear that anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
Now, and it's so good that you're bringing that up. Human trafficking.
We talked about it on Thursday night in St. Pete.
Human trafficking for guys, and we had the guest a couple of weeks ago when she said that she was almost part of the human trafficking. I'm still trying to get the professor from the University of South Florida over here to speak about human trafficking. But
you can't get the professor.
Them people working so hard over there. They're working so hard. But I'm just saying, at the summit, they got a panel for human trafficking to bring awareness, because
that was Thursday night.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Thursday night in St. Pete. Yeah.
So
we will do another human trafficking event. So we talked human trafficking. Chief Anthony Holloway, a survivor, Talicia Espinoza, Michelle Walker from Miracles Outreach, and Miracles Outreach is a local nonprofit here that works to combat human trafficking. And Michelle Walker, Miracles Outreach, has been doing this work for years.
To protect our children, protect our young girls and boys.
Wait, hold on. Renee Flowers, County Commissioner Renee Flowers, excuse me.
Sorry. County Commissioner.
County Commissioner Renee Flowers was there too. She had a lot of information to give, a lot of real life stories. It was a really informative panel. I'm going to have to do another one again. Do it in Hillsborough. Maybe I'll get you to be the moderator.
Okay.
Human trafficking is an issue.
It's a very big issue, and
we're number 3
in the nation.
In the nation,
and in the big time.
So when you were talking about that 1/3 of the population that got arrested, in my mind, I'm like, how many of those people got arrested for human trafficking? I mean, there was just a bust a couple weeks ago in Polk County, right? 23 people just got arrested.
There was another bust in Ruskin. So,
and if you've realized people are getting busted for doing this stuff, why y'all keep doing it?
But more importantly,
and why? Like the question I wanted to ask the lady, they kept talking about that there's a demand for human trafficking.
That's sad, man.
What is the demand? And how did there become a demand for human trafficking? Think about that.
That's powerful. Who says I'm gonna start a human trafficking ring? Like, what human wakes up and says I want to snatch children?
Like people talk about this guy Epstein, and what the stuff that he was doing, and Gazelle Mac. Like this stuff is happening right here
in our community.
Right here.
In our community.
There's 23 people that just got caught last week
in our community.
And
third, I saw that too when we were doing the statistics and running down human trafficking. We're third in the nation.
In the nation.
Right here in this community.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just a lot of good things to be able to have discussions around. But I pray that as we keep having these annual summits, that good information is put out and we can correlate that to real action. Because we have what we need in our community. Like if I was standing up talking at the summit, not just on the panel, but like speaking, I would encourage our people who are in the building that we have what we need to make a difference right here. We don't need to go out and get no special attorney general. We don't need to go out and get new law enforcement. We got great people right here in our community that can make a difference, but they can't do it alone.
And the thing is, you would never know this if we didn't do the summit last year.
Yeah.
I would have never met you.
Yeah, that's true.
If I didn't do the summit last year.
And I would stand up and make that heartfelt plea that we are the leaders because we're here.
Absolutely.
We're here not because we getting paid. We're here because we care. We care, and we want change to happen.
Not only that, it happened to me.
It happened to me.
I can share my story.
It's true. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's
tough. I put out on my LinkedIn post, about our children that are, how our children, blacks and browns, are getting arrested 9 times faster than their white counterpart.
Absolutely.
You know, that is facts. That's statistics that's showing that, you know, our children are being victims to the criminal justice system by the color of their skin. That's what they're saying. But
it's deeper than that, Walter. You know, because people that don't look like us, they get arrested too.
they do.
You know,
They do.
if you look at that human trafficking folks that got arrested, a whole lot of them don't look like me.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I just, you know, we got to work better at it, and we can do it collectively if we all come together.
It's true.
You know, and we all can come together as long as there's, you know, check your ego at the door.
Yeah, it's not about you or trying to get your name. It's about saving lives, and that's the biggest thing. We're gonna take another commercial break right now. I had Don Scott in the building. If you want to call and weigh in, please give us a call, 813-444-9588. Stay tuned. Stay woke.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
Nestled in the heart of West Tampa, the Maduro Marauder Cigar Lounge offers a wide variety of premium cigars from Esteli, Nicaragua. In addition, the lounge offers a relaxed environment for you to come back, lay, chill, and relax and smoke a great cigar. Visit us at our brick and mortar location, 1944 West Main Street, Tampa, as well as online, www.maduromarauders.com.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Jazz at Miss Connie's House is brought to you by Ray Williams Funeral Home, providing the highest quality, professional, and caring service for your family. Call Jeffrey Rhodes at 813-253-3419. That's 813-253-3419. Or visit him at 301 North Howard Avenue, Tampa, Florida. Ray Williams Funeral Home, for the finest care and quality service.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
Welcome back. Stay woke, Tampa Bay community. I want to give you the phone number once again. The telephone number is 813-444-9588. We have the infamous Don Scott in the building here, giving us great information about our criminal justice summit that he is putting on for our community. He is bringing awareness. And Don, I want to get right back in because I don't want to miss this question. When you had this summit last year, and it was the first time, and you know, it was probably a little nerve-wracking, and you got everybody in the building, and everything went all right. And what was the feedback that you got from the first summit? What was Like, what, I mean, did you put out a filler for everybody? How did it go? Like, what was the feedback that you received, not only from our community, but from the people that was involved?
We did the breakfast summit. And we did the first panel was a breakfast panel with former Senator Jeff Brandes and Mitch Perry was the moderator. Halfway through that panel, a gentleman came up to me and was like, if you do this again next year, let me know. I'll sponsor the whole thing. And he's a sponsor again this year. By the lunch panel, when are you doing another one? It was all, when are you doing another one? And I think the feedback was good, but everyone has their own issue, Walter. When are we going to talk about FMR? When are you going to do a panel on human trafficking? When can we, I really would like to talk to you, if there's still time, about the attorneys that you worked with last week to see if we can do that same type of consultation at the summit for people. We were trying to reach out to get some attorneys to do that. Just didn't have the capacity at the time to do it all. But that is something that we're looking at doing moving forward. I mean, it was just, again, everyone has their own, can you bring certain people on, and then then they want to have their friends. My friend of mine is a senator in California. He wrote some bills. Can we bring him in? I'm like, how does that affect Florida? Bringing people in from out of state to tell people here how to run their lives, that's not really going to work. So why don't we create our own conversation with the people that are here? Because I live here, you live here, right? So let's make these changes without the outside voices.
Was there anything that was taken from last summit that became into action? Like, we talked about it, we said, hey, this is the game plan, and then we ran the game plan and it came into fruition?
There were a lot of things that were talked about at the summit that did come to fruition. Some of the things that were talked about were processes that were already going on that may have been fine-tuned when it comes to raising money, like we were talking about offline, to get people that are currently incarcerated who are in jail, who don't have money to come home. So there was a process. Again, Kevin Plummer and Neil Volz from Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. That was another conversation that they had. They were talking with Cindy Stewart and the clerk of courts about making sure that there's giving the clerk of courts the money so they could release people, they can go home.
I wonder if there's
same with voting.
Oh,
okay,
true.
So the same Neil and those guys were very instrumental with Amendment 4 many years ago to get people like ourselves returning home the right to vote. So those conversations are still going on, because even though some of us have gotten our right to vote now they're trying to take it away.
Yeah, and then also was hanging on that little clause that even though you pay your debt to society, if you didn't pay the $30 that you owe the clerk of the court, you still couldn't get the. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, I mean, the years that you spent. That's
what I'm saying. But and that's what I'm saying. Like, the rules in Pennsylvania and the rules in Florida are entirely different. The minute you were released in Pennsylvania, you have your rights back. You can vote. You've done your time.
And then think a step further. If I didn't pay those $35 to the clerk of the court,
they'll come get you.
No, not only come get me, but don't let me go over there and vote. I got a governor that say, boy, that's a third-degree felony. We'll lock him up. Lock him up. Go. He trying to vote.
And for somebody like you and I, that's strike two.
Strike two. We got for voting.
For voting.
We're going to go get a small part of the people that have paid their debt to society, and now they want to go cast a vote because they say, hey, I've been through the system. I want to vote so the system don't continue to be the same way, but because I didn't pay the $35 to the clerk of the court that I owed, I'm now arrested and facing a 5-year charge.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got to be a better way. When that came out too, I even thought about, can the state of Florida, for all the people who have been released, because they get who's released, send them an email through the state of Florida saying, or some type of, paperwork to their house or some type of email, whatever, that says, to gain your voting rights, these are the things that you need to do.
They don't tell you what you need to do to get your rights back?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You just say you walked out of incarceration and had the ability in Pennsylvania to go vote. In the state of Florida, inmates, especially indigent prisoners, don't know how much they owe the clerk. When you go to court and they say, okay, you have a court hearing, and that judge says you're sentenced to the Department of Corrections, you're not only sentenced with a physical sentence, you're sentenced with a financial sentence too.
That's the same. That's the same.
But I'm saying the prisoners, they're so lost on the time. They say,
I got think about the money.
You got to do 7 years. They don't think about that. I owe $357 to this clerk of the court for my court fees. That's the last thing that's on the prisoner's mind. So when they get out after the 5.5, 6 years that they've done, they want to get back to living life.
And then they're thinking about the little 350.
They done forgot about the 350. But nobody's there to say.
But they're reminded now because now you can't get your driver's license. Or you can't do this, that, and the third because you didn't pay $350 from 9 years ago. And why is it still $350? Shouldn't it be $35? It was 10 years ago.
Haven't I paid my debt to society? You think if Florida was paying inmates that they could have garnished the wages while they were incarcerated and paid for that?
Florida inmates don't get paid?
Come on, man. Let's be serious. 1% of the prison population in the state of Florida gets paid, and that's a person who either works.
Everybody in Pennsylvania gets paid.
Yeah. What is Florida?
I mean, 23 cents an hour.
When they created this law, it was, what'd you say, 1920, 1930?
Slave.
See,
era. This is modern day slavery.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's 2.2 million people that's incarcerated in the United States.
Probably there's more than that.
Well, I mean, it's probably more than that. But you know what?
You got 100,000 just here in Florida.
No, you have over 200,000. You have 81 to 84,000 people that's currently incarcerated. You have another 200,000 that's under the supervision, house arrest, probation.
They don't count.
You see what I'm saying? So under the justice system, you got nearly 3,000 people in the state of Florida.
300,000.
300,000.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct.
And people don't know about that, and especially the people that's being released back into our community. The last thing that's on their mind is the $350 that they owe the court system.
But think about this, though.
Okay. Stay woke. You are on the air. We on a quick debate. Go ahead and give us a call. Caller, who are you?
Hi, my name's Kristen Tomasello. How are you?
Hey, Kristen. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's everybody on this beautiful Saturday?
Well, I mean, we have Don Scott in the building, so I mean, it's as sunny as it possibly can be in our studio. You know, he's giving us good information about what's coming for our community, the events, and if I'm not mistaken, you got a book that will be at the event. You know, so I got a chance to see this beautiful flyer. Then I got to get with Don. I got to figure out who in the hell is making these flyers, because the flyers that I'm personally making, like, you know, he's got the glamour shots and he's got the whole, you know, I got to figure out where he going or who. I got to get his connect. But we understand that you have a book about your story, and it is a painful story with a beautiful ending, and we're so grateful. I haven't got a chance to meet you in person yet, but I look forward to. You want to go ahead and tell our community?
I look forward to meeting you as well.
Okay.
And then tonight we're doing a special needs prom as well.
Okay. You want to tell us real quick about your book before, you know, we try to get you?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned is this life is all about our spiritual side of things. And I wanted to share my story with people on my life without Christ and then life with Christ. And how that really made a difference in my life and the way that my life has changed, where I've been in the world, the people I've met, the things that you can do to protect yourself and make sure that we're all winning together. Because really, I've learned so much just from praying and believing in the story of what God did for me versus what he didn't do for me. And when that epiphany happened, it was like the transformation started to really happen for me, and then got to travel and got to build a school, and then how that deeply affected me and how much like I was missing the meaning of life.
Well, you know,
we're all meant to win together, and I think it's all about how we can bring everybody together.
Well, think about this, Christian.
No matter how different
think about
our
this.
upbringings are and all of that.
You know, one, we're grateful that you were able to publish your story. You know, that's a tremendous feat that, you know, you was able to take your pain and put it in a book for people to read and take that journey with you. So I want to say, you know, I'm so proud of you for becoming an author and publishing your story, because reliving some of those things is very difficult. And for you to be able to write about them, you know, you did something very special that I don't think you realize at times, or for most people who've been through traumatic events. When you're able to write and gift people with your story, you're giving other people a lighthouse who may be going through the same similar situations, that may have heard about you or heard about your name or your story and says, you know what, I'm that person that's going through that same similar situation. And now in your story, you're not only giving them what happened, but I'm sure that you're gifting them with some information on how to get through that. And like for all your speaking engagements and things that you're doing and being able to go around and share and educate, I couldn't be any more prouder of you. I did look you up. I started calling people asking about you. So, you know, I'm just proud of you. And if you don't get a chance to hear that enough, you heard it here from me on air in front of Don, that, you know, we look forward to you bringing out your book, being able to hopefully, you know, meet some people, some lawmakers, maybe give them some good conversation about what you've been through, because there's nothing better than lived experience.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing I've learned is when I'm walking in Rome from politicians, it's one, and I often give them the analogy of, if I take my car to a mechanic shop, I can get an oil change, I can get a part removed, but I would love to do it with somebody who's been through schooling, or somebody who's been through being taught how to.
Somebody has a little more experience with the car, with mechanics.
Right, somebody who's worked with the mechanics. So, you know, when you have lived experience, your story helps push for change, and that's something that just.
And the crazy thing was, is I felt I should write the book because I've had so many different perspectives. You know, from when I was a kid and when I had my vocal cords damaged from an unknown reason, right? So I basically had this damaged voice when I was 3. I had to go to speech and all this stuff, and then I didn't read fast enough. There was all this. They were trying to see if I had special needs, and then I had an IEP and all this stuff, so I was always behind in reading. And then when I got to middle school, my dad was suffering from cancer, and, you know, the bullying happened because I was crying a lot, and I couldn't process the fact that my dad was in a coma, he was blind and deaf, and, you know, and then he couldn't walk at times. And then actually living the life of, oh my gosh, I'm seeing all these people suffering from cancer at one time. It's not even just my dad. And then I started to feel all these thoughts and all these emotions from people, and I was like, why am I always feeling everybody? You know, so, and then I got to high school, and I was very determined to, you know, do something and help with special needs, but then I got caught up in my own disease and my own illness, and then having to go through a bunch of IVs and medicine, and then the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me, and then I took it upon myself. You know, I graduated from St. Pete College. I graduated from Galen College of Nursing. So,
well, listen, I don't want to interrupt you here, but you know we're running short on time. But I think, you know, we will definitely give people the information where they could come see you next Saturday, where that you can share that personable story with them, and maybe they want to buy your story, and maybe they want to communicate with you. But we're going to end the show with definitely Don giving our community the where, the address, the time, and everything else, so that way we have that information on record. I don't want to rush you off. It's just that you called towards the end of the show, and if you'd have called in the beginning, we'd have rolled out with you. But you know, you're at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in. I will look forward to seeing you and meeting you at the authors.
Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. No problem. And listen, never forget that you're a lighthouse to other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, just a little snippet of that, and you know, we're here to run together, win together, improve people, and make people to believe in themselves.
Amen to that. All right, Kristen. Well, listen, you definitely take it easy, and I'll see you on Saturday. Okay.
Awesome. I can't wait to see you.
Okay, take it easy. All right, Don. So,
all right, you too.
Okay, Don, I want to let you know we're running out of time.
Barrymore Hotel, Friday, 9 o'clock. All information is at horizoncommunities.org. Horizoncommunities.org. You can check it out on the Facebook page, Walter Dunn's Facebook page, All City Solution Facebook page. Yeah.
Listen,
thank you, Walter, for this opportunity. Greatly appreciate it, man.
No problem, Don. I want to say this. I got a chance last year to be a volunteer at this event. It changed my life. You know, that's no cap. It changed my life.
Don's the boss.
So I want to let y'all know, if you have nothing to do and you want to really get involved in change in our criminal justice system, you could come out on Friday. You could come out on Saturday. If you have the time, come to both of them.
And if you're an attorney, you get credit. You get continuing education credits to join us. So come on out. HorizonCommunities.org. Friday we'll be at the Barrymore for the reentry simulator, and Saturday we'll be at Tampa Prep with Kevin Plummer and Tammy Honiger and all the great staff over there at Tampa Prep for the panel for the Tampa Bay Criminal Justice Summit.
So you got it. Don Scott, you can hit him up on the Facebook. You can check out my Facebook, Walter Dunn. You can get the information and see the flyer with all the times and everything there. Thank you for tuning in to Stay Woke. We'll see you next weekend. Take it easy.